For over 200 years, Japan was a ghost on the world stage. A silent island nation, veiled in mist and myth, living by its own ancient rules. For centuries, it turned its back on the outside world, deliberately choosing isolation. The shoguns who ruled believed this was the only way to protect their culture, their people, their very soul. They were content in their serene, self-contained universe of tranquil temples, misty mountains, and the silent, deadly grace of the samurai. Little did they know that this period of profound silence was merely the calm before a storm that would see this isolated nation rise to challenge every empire on it. Rewriting the rules of power and leaving an indelible mark on history, this is the story of how Japan, the land of the rising sun, went from a forgotten archipelago to a global titan. This was the age of the samurai, the heart and soul of feudal Japan. Life was governed by a strict, unwritten code known as Bushido, the way of the warrior. It wasn't just about swordsmanship. It was a philosophy demanding loyalty, courage, honor, and self-discipline above all else. At the top of this rigid hierarchy was the shogun, the supreme military dictator, wielding absolute power. Below him were the daimyo, powerful feudal lords, and their loyal samurai retainers. This was a society built on order, discipline, and an intricate web of obligations. Every person knew their place, and the samurai were the enforcers of this order. Their twin swords, a constant symbol of the shogun's authority. While the rest of the world was in constant flux, Japan was a realm of perfect, disciplined stillness, a society where honor was more valuable than life itself. This internal order was their strength, but it also sowed the seeds of their greatest challenge. This era, known as the Tokugawa period, brought something Japan had craved for centuries: peace. The constant civil wars ended, and a new era of stability began. But this peace came at a steep price. Under the policy of asterisk, S-A-K-O-K-U asterisk, or close country, Japan was locked away from the rest of the world. No one could leave, and almost no one could enter. Trade was restricted to a tiny, controlled island. While Europe was being transformed by the Industrial Revolution with steam engines, factories, and railways rewriting the very definition of progress, Japan remained frozen in time. It was a beautiful, living museum of a feudal society. Artisans perfected their crafts, poets wrote haikus, and the samurai practiced their ancient martial arts. But beneath this tranquil surface, stagnation had set in. The world was modernizing, industrializing, and building global empires. Japan, in its peaceful slumber, was falling dangerously behind. The gap between their world and the outside world was growing wider with each passing day, and soon that gap would become an existential threat. not with a friendly greeting, but with the thunder of cannons. American warships, the so-called black ships, arrive in Tokyo Bay, forcing the shogun to open the country to foreign trade. The shock of their own technological inferiority ignites a revolution. The shogunate is overthrown, and power is restored to the young Emperor Meiji. This is the Meiji Restoration, one of the most astonishing transformations in human history. Japan realizes it must modernize or be colonized, and so it embraces change with a speed and ferocity the world has never seen. In a breathtaking rush, the nation transforms itself. Feudalism is abolished. Samurai are replaced by a modern conscripted army. Telegraph lines connect cities. Railways cut through mountains, and factories spring up overnight. Students are sent abroad to learn Western science, engineering, and politics, bringing back knowledge to build a new Japan. In just one generation, Japan leaps from samurai to steel, from feudal lords to industrialists. It was a national reinvention on an epic scale, a desperate and brilliant gamble for survival. Having remade itself, Japan was no longer content to just survive. It wanted to thrive, to command respect, to build an empire of its own. Just like the Western powers it now emulates. The nation's new powerful military was put to the test. First, in 1894, Japan went to war with its giant neighbor, China. To the world's astonishment, the smaller island nation crushed the Qing dynasty's forces, seizing control of Taiwan and establishing dominance over Korea. A decade later, Japan faced an even more formidable foe, the vast, sprawling Russian Empire. The Russo-Japanese War was a brutal conflict, but once again, Japan emerged victorious, becoming the first Asian power in modern history to defeat a European one. The world was in shock. Asia had a new master. The silent, isolated nation of samurai had become a formidable expansionist empire. A new sun was rising in the east, and its light cast a long, imposing shadow across the entire continent. The era of Western dominance was no longer absolute. Japan's imperial ambition grew, fueled by a potent mix of national pride, military might, and a desperate need for natural resources. The military came to dominate the government, pushing an aggressive expansionist policy across Asia. This path of conquest put Japan on a direct collision course with the United States. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, bringing America into World War II. For a time, Japan's empire seemed unstoppable, stretching across the Pacific, but the tide of the war turned. Years of brutal fighting culminated in the ultimate devastation. In August 1945, the United States dropped atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The destruction was absolute, a horror, unlike anything the world had ever witnessed. Faced with total annihilation, Japan surrendered. The empire, built over decades with blood and steel, crumbled in an instant. The rising sun had been eclipsed by a firestorm of its own making, leaving a nation shattered, defeated, and grappling with the devastating consequences of its pride. In the smoldering ruins of its cities, Japan faced a future of despair. But What happened next was nothing short of a miracle. With the help of its former enemy, the United States, Japan embarked on a new path. The nation renounced war forever, writing a pacifist constitution and redirecting its energy. Instead of building an empire, it focused on rebuilding its economy. The same discipline, innovation, and collective effort that had fueled its military machine were now channeled into industry and technology. Companies like Sony, Toyota, and Honda rose from the ashes to become global giants. Japan became a world leader in electronics, automobiles, and engineering. At the same time, its culture flourished in new and unexpected ways. Anime and manga captivated audiences worldwide, while its traditional arts found a new global appreciation. Today, Japan stands as a peaceful, prosperous, and deeply influential nation. It is a testament to the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Japan lost its empire, but found its soul nation reborn from fire. Forever changed, but forever fascinating. Thank you so much for watching this journey through Japan's incredible history. If you found the story as compelling as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. We'd love to have you as part of our community. See you in the next video.